Hello everyone, and welcome back to my Linux channel, Byte of Linux. So, in my last video, I showed you how to install Tilix, which is a terminal emulator, like an alternative to the default terminal. And I also showed you some of the best features and how to customize it. Now in this video, I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to actually customize and change the stuff that is actually inside the terminal. So not the outside, not the window or the terminal emulator, what's actually inside it. So if I open up Tilix or any terminal emulator, you will see that you have something like this. And now this is the actual part that I'm going to be changing. So what this video is going to do is show you how to turn your terminal from this to this. And there is a big difference here. It looks much better. And now there are going to be a lot of steps in this video. There are some of the steps will be mandatory, while some will be optional, and you can skip the optional ones if you don't want to, but make sure to do the ones that are mandatory. So starting with step 1, I'm going to be installing the zsh shell. So let's begin. So as I said, the first step is going to be to install the zsh shell. Now essentially what a shell is the program that takes your commands from the keyboard and gives them to the operating system to perform. Now in the old days, when this whole user interface wasn't here, the shell was the only thing that you could interact with. So it's essential to having a good performing one. Now if you open up a terminal instance and just type in something random, make sure it is not a command, and click enter, you will see that it says bash : and whatever you entered, command not found. And now notice the bash at the beginning of the statement. Bash is what you are running right now. You're running the bash shell. And I'm going to be changing to the zsh shell. So it should say zsh, blah, blah, blah. So to install it, you can do it using your software center on your system. I'm running an Arch Linux-based system, so I'll use PAMAC. And just look up zsh, and it has to be there. It's available for every distribution. So just click on that, and click install. And enter your password. Now on top of installing it through your software center, you can also install it using your distribution specific commands. So I'll just show you those ones. On Debian based systems, you want to run sudo apt-get update, and then sudo apt-get upgrade, and then finally sudo apt-get install zsh. Fedora systems, sudo yum install zsh. SUSE based systems, sudo zipper upgrade, and then sudo zipper install zsh. And then on Arch Linux based systems, sudo pacman -s zsh. So once you have that installed, you can go over and open up a terminal, and if you enter in a random command again, you will see that it is still bash. Now to actually change your shell to zsh, type which zsh. And now if you get something, it means that zsh was installed properly. And this is the path where zsh is installed. So to actually change the shell, run sudo chsh, which means change shell, -s, and then this path right here, so it's user bin zsh for me. And just hit enter. And it should say changing shell for root, shell changed. So now once you have your shell changed, you are ready to go on with the next step. And before you do that, make sure to reboot to fully apply the changes. Okay, so hopefully everything went well with changing the shell and installing zsh. Now, the next step is going to be to install oh-my-zsh, which is a framework for managing your zsh shell configuration. So you can go over to the OhMySH GitHub page. You can just look up OhMySH and then click on the GitHub link, and you can read more about it over here. It has all the information. And on top of managing your shell, you can also get plugins and extensions and themes. So it's kind of like an all-in-one for your zsh shell. Now here are the requirements for installing it. You need to have Linux, which we probably have. zsh has to be installed, which we did in the last step. You have to have curl or wget, and you have to have git. So if you have all of those things, you can either install it using curl or wget. I'll just use curl. You can pick whatever you want. And then open up a terminal. Let's copy that again. And just run this command. It will ask for your password because it's installing some stuff. And if that's done, you can just exit out of that and open up a new instance of a terminal, and you should see this new shell over here. Now this is actually your shell, so you can type here, everything works, and you have everything here. So now that was installing oh-my-zsh. So now what we can do is look at the configuration file for zsh. So if you look over here, you can see that it is located in the .zsh-rc file. So just open up a file manager and then make sure you have hidden items enabled. So you can just do that and click show hidden files. And you should see a file titled .zsh-rc. So click on that and just open it up with a text editor. And now here is the configuration file for zsh. So now, if you go up, you will see that there is a list of all the different themes, and you can actually change it in this configuration file right here. So if you click on the themes folder, you'll see that there are tons of themes over here. And to actually view all the themes, go back to the home page and then scroll all the way down, and you will see that under themes there is a screenshots link. So click the screenshots link and you'll have a list of all the different themes and how they look. So if you just keep scrolling down, you will see the different ones and how they look, and just pick the one that you want. Let's say that I want to not do. So just copy that, and now in your .zsh-rc file, there will be a entry that says zsh theme equals Robbie Russell. Now Robbie Russell is the default theme, so you can just delete that and then enter in whatever you copied here and just save that. So now when you open up the terminal again, that theme will be there. So you can see that it's pretty similar. And of course, you can change it to whatever you want. So now, if you want to stop here with the video, you can. The rest of the steps are going to be optional. And so you can just stop here and choose whichever one you want and be done with that. But if you want to do more, let's move on to the next step. Okay, great. On to step 3. Now, these next couple of steps are going to be about applying the agnostor theme. Well, not exactly the agnostor theme, but something similar to it. And to do that, you can see here there are special characters like this git one right here, or this lightning bolt, or the X. And to actually let the terminal display these, we're going to have to install something called PowerLine. So if you look up PowerLine GitHub and click on GitHub PowerLine/PowerLine, you will get to the PowerLine homepage. Now just scroll down until you get to the documentation area. It says consult the documentation for more information and installation instructions. So click on that link and scroll to where it says installation. So click on installation, and you can see that you can install it using pip. So if you don't have pip installed, you're actually going to need to install that. So I'm just going to install it through my package installer. So I'll just look up pip and just install Python pip, probably the one you want. So once that's installed, you can open up a terminal and check that it's actually installed by just running pip. And if this thing happens, it means that it's installed. And now I can actually run this pip installation right here. So I'm going to run pip install PowerLine status, go over to my terminal, and just run that. Okay, great. So we have PowerLine installed, but now we're going to have to get the actual font that will then be applied in the terminal. So to do that, you can go over to a web browser and then search up PowerLine fonts and click on the link that's titled github.com/powerline/fonts. And here you'll be shown lots of fonts that are patched to work with these special characters. Now you can choose whatever one you want. My personal favorite is Inconsolata, so I'm going to use that one. So just click that, then click on the PowerLine font file. It'll either be OTF or TTF. Click View Raw, and it should download it. So you can open that up and install that font. Once that's done, close out of that. Go to your terminal, and now whatever terminal you have, it's going to depend on your terminal, but open up your settings and select that specific font to be applied. So you can just go here and look up Inconsolata or whatever the name of your font is, and make sure you select the Inconsolata for PowerLine, not just the regular one, as I have that installed as well. You can just select that and bump up that a little bit, select, and close out of that, and you should have the new font. So from here, we can move on to the next step. Okay, we're getting close to finishing here. So as I said before, we're going to be installing a theme that's similar to Agnoster, this one right here, but it's going to be a little bit different, and it depends on the font that we just installed, the PowerLine thing. So the name of the theme is called Power Level 9K. So you can just look that up. Click on the GitHub link, and here you'll have the Power Level 9K page. So to install it, scroll down and go under the installation section here, click on installation instructions, and here click on oh-my-zsh install, since we already have oh-my-zsh installed. So just run this command right here, make sure you have git, just reset that, and it should install. Now we actually have to set that in our .zshrc file, so I already have it open here. Now go to your ZSH theme here, and for that, you want to enter in powerlevel9k/powerlevel9k and save that. So now let's close out of the terminal and open it back up, and you can see that we successfully enabled the Power-Level-9K theme. And I have to say, it looks really nice. Now there's actually more you can do with this. So once you have it installed, the basics installed, you can actually configure it to show lots of different things. So go back to the original page here, and the next section will be stylizing your prompt. So you can click that, and that will show you some things you can enter if you want to do it manually, but there are also ones that are pre-made by other people. So if you can just keep scrolling down, and there will be a section that says, just scroll down below all this documentation here. Now, you can go down to the TLDR page, section right here, and click the show off your config. And now here are a bunch of configurations listed here, and you can just pick whichever one you want. And they already have all their power level settings listed here. So I'm just going to pick a random one, See, and you can see that they all have different things. Some have some information on the side, some only have information on this side. So let me just get a pretty nice looking one. So let's try this one right here. Let's try this one right here. So you can copy these power level 9K settings. So just copy that whole section right here. So copy that, and then go over to your zsh-rc file. And if you scroll all the way down, I'd just like to make a section down here. So power level 9K. Power level 9K settings, and under here you can paste all that stuff. So just paste all that, save that, close out of your terminal, and load it back up. And you will see that this configuration actually got applied. So if you look here, we have the time on the second line here, the directory at the top, and then RAM usage on the side here. So great. So you can just pick whichever one you want, and they all look different. And you can also see which theme they're using, which font, all that stuff, if you want to match exactly. So now that is it for the customization part of the video. Now this last step I'm going to do is going to be auto suggestions. So let's do that. Okay, the last step, finally. So like I said, it's going to be about installing zsh Auto Suggestions, and what that will allow it is for the command to display suggestions for commands based on what you had typed before. So just look up zsh Auto Suggestions in your search bar and click on the first link that appears. It should be zsh users / zsh Auto Suggestions. Now scroll down and it will have the installation commands here. So we have oh-my-zsh. So let's use this one right here. So git clone and then this. Okay. And then next, you want to add zsh Auto Suggestions to the list of plugins that zsh should load. So go back to your zsh-rc file and let me just look up plugins to find where it is. Plugins. Okay, plugins are right here. So just close that and add auto suggestions to that. So save that. So it should say git auto suggestions. And now close out of your terminal and load it back up. Just close out of that. So now we can see that if we start typing something, the first time, nothing will most likely appear. But if we go back and do it again, CD desktop again, you will see that it shows CD desktop for us because we typed it before. And to use this, you can just hit the right arrow key and it will enter that in for you, and just hit enter. And you can do that with anything really. You can do sudo -i, and then you can do exit. And if you want sudo again, it will show you sudo -i. And this is really handy if you're doing stuff a lot, you're entering commands frequently, the same ones, and you can just keep hitting the right arrow key and selecting those. Great. Okay everyone, that's going to be it for this configuration video. So just to recap, I installed and changed my shell to zsh. Then I installed oh-my-zsh, which is a framework to manage your zsh plugins and themes. Then I installed PowerLine and installed a PowerLine patched font to let the terminal display special characters. After that, I installed Power Level 9K, which is a theme, the current one that you see on my terminal right now. And finally, as an add-on, I installed the zsh Auto Suggestions extension to give suggestions on what I should enter based on what I typed before in the terminal. And also, make sure to check out the oh-my-zsh page for more plugins. There are a ton of them out there. If you go to the GitHub page and click on plugins, you will see many plugins, and you can match whatever you're looking for. And also, I don't know why you do this, but if you want to change back to the bash shell, you can just type which bash and then do sudo chsh the same thing that I did to change to zsh-s, and then this right here. So make sure to like and subscribe, and also comment down below and tell me which themes and plugins you use on your zsh configuration. And as always, thanks for watching.